Hello, I'm Muchaneta, and I'm here with Isabelle. Super excited about this one, who found some time to come and have a chat with us here at Munich Fabric Start. Isabelle, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. But before we begin our chit-chat,
Okay.
do you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Of course. Hello, my name's Isabelle Saxton, and I'm a Sustainability Regeneration and Circularity Strategist. So I help fashion brands and individuals basically implement those practices in their organization in some way or lifestyle.
That's a serious title you've got there.
I know. It's one of those, I started out with Sustainability Strategist. I just feel like it didn't fit the bill because circularity and regeneration are different to sustainability, but also I still like the values of sustainability. So I kind of
Maybe. And do you know what it is?
combine them all.
I feel like titles are evolving.
They are.
I know what my title 5 years ago is not the title I have today,
Yeah.
because the needs of the industry are constantly changing all the time. So I'm changing my title along with it.
Yeah. What's your title at the moment?
My title right now is pretty long.
Okay. You don't have to.
I have CEO of Shape Innovate.
Okay.
And then I'm also a lecturer at UAL.
Okay.
And then I also am a bridge between innovation and policy for fashion
Awesome.
industry.
That's
So
really
it's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
I have to cut it down for LinkedIn though,
Yeah.
right?
LinkedIn's
Because
such
otherwise
a-
people think, like, you're just a show off. Stop it. What exactly do you do, right?
Yeah.
But talking about what you do,
Yeah.
how are you helping the industry? Because it sounds to me like, as a strategist,
Yeah.
you're kind of drawing a map for them so they know which direction they need to go as a business. Is this correct?
Yeah, so I do like roadmaps as well, but to kind of get to that point, I like to work with the CEO usually and see kind of how sustainability can work for their organization. So what are their personal values, as well as like where do they want to take their company? And then how does that kind of translate into goals? And then from there, we kind of build out the roadmap. So, okay, like if this is kind of your vision, these are the goals that you can use to get there. And this is the roadmap that you can kind of follow over time.
That makes life easier for them, because if you're able to understand what they need, then you can make sure that the strategy fits in with that.
Totally.
So the change isn't so shocking for them because it fits in with their objectives.
Yeah, 100%. And it's very much like what they want, as well as what they're being asked to do, possibly by regulation, if that's something they care about, or certifications if they're trying to get certifications for.
I think that's important, because I feel like a lot of brands feel like what they want has been swept under the rug now. It's all about what they need to do rather than what they want as a business.
Right. And then all the fun gets taken away.
Right.
That's kind of like my mission for 2026. It's like to bring fun back into sustainability.
Yay! And I'll be like behind you cheerleading it on. Like,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the word fun and sustainability, fun and policy, fun and innovation, they just don't go together, do they?
I know they don't. But I think they do. I think they can. I think there are like some really cool innovations out there that are kind of like bringing new energy to the space and new energy to like policy, and kind of like working with the new policies that are coming out to make really cool, like almost like trendy things happen around it, which I think is quite good for our kind of like fast-paced society as it is.
And how we're going so quickly. Because, you know, I feel sometimes we need to change the conversation from a horror movie into like a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's one way of explaining, right? So they don't get too scared about what's changing, but actually have a rom-com where you kind of start off not quite sure, and then you fall in love and everything's brilliant, and then it ends up a bit like unsure again, and then you have this happy ending, right? Kind of going through those stages of rom-com versus the horror movie where everything just goes flat on its face, and you know,
and there's no hope.
There's no hope in horror movies. Yes, there's hope when you're watching it because you're telling them to run, but generally there is no hope, right? So helping the industry is a big job, though.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you've been facing from CEOs? I'm sure they have their own fears and they might not be so flexible because making money is important, obviously.
I was going to say the biggest thing has been cost, especially last year. 2025 was like the worst year for me, at least, as kind of like a freelancer. It was so incredibly hard to find fashion companies that were able to invest money in voluntary strategy, because at the end of the day, that's what I specialize in. Like, it's all voluntary, most of it. And so I ended up in the educational space, which I really love. But I think cost is definitely like the key kind of thing holding people back. And with all the new tariffs and the socio-political situation, it seems like brands are struggling to prioritize sustainability in their operations, even though it might be a value that they really care about.
Yes. See, I don't know, because maybe God, I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No, go for it.
I feel like it's because they don't calculate innovations and that kind of sustainability initiatives into their budget.
Yeah, maybe.
If they calculated it in, like you would your marketing, like you would your sales, that you would like your kind of like your textiles, whatever it is that you have in your budget, if it's calculated in, then you kind of have a rough idea how much you have to spend on it.
Totally.
And I feel that because they've never had that responsibility, they just can't calculate it in. They just feel like, I just don't have the money because all my money goes to this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like they need to look at what this is and prioritize.
Yeah.
Some things might just need to go, you know? And it's a hard thing to say. And I think this is maybe that can be applied mainly to big companies. Maybe smaller companies is a harder thing to say.
Yeah, maybe.
But for the big companies, I think they can.
Yeah.
They just don't want to.
I know, I think so. And I think some of the things with sustainability as well is like it improves your efficiency as a company. And in what you're saying there, I think that would be a pretty good way to kind of like start out improving your costs as well.
Yeah. Like, do you know what? I watched somebody on LinkedIn had some cartoon on it, and it had a picture of CEO sitting in a room, and on it says, I'm going to talk to you about climate change. And all the CEOs are like sleeping, you know, they drew them like sleeping. And then the next part was, I'm going to tell you how you're going to make some money.
Yeah.
And then they're all energized. Like, so it's about the language and how you use your words.
Totally.
And I feel like people still need to make money because it's still a business.
Yeah.
So how can we communicate with them to change their practices? It's by focusing on money.
Yeah. It's very true.
And understanding that if you don't, what you pay today, you might pay £1 today, but tomorrow you'll pay £2.50.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think also what's quite exciting about the new regulations coming out in the EU, like, I can't remember if it was digital product passport or the extended producer responsibility that then, as a producer, you then get taxed if it's harder to recycle, for example. Yes. That was like written into one of them. I was doing both, so I can't remember which one it was now, but I think something like that's also quite a good sign.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, well, you kind of need to prioritize sustainability in your business because otherwise it's going to cost you more money.
It's going to cost you a heck of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you will be like, I told you so. And they'll be like, why didn't you tell me?
I tried.
You tried to tell you, you know? So it's really important. So your job, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it's a job that needs to be pushed ahead so people can understand, because there's not much time left to make these changes.
Yeah, I'm definitely not losing hope. That's not why I said it. It was just like, that's kind of like the reflection of the reality that I lived through last year. But yeah, I definitely think like it needs to be pushed forward.
Yeah, because you're in the job of convincing. I know, but you're the job of convincing. I said that to somebody earlier. It's the hardest job there is.
It is. It really, really is.
It's kind of about trying to convince a toddler to eat their vegetables. It's not. I don't want to. You just
like bribe them, which I don't think is very good for a client. Like, you just want to have to bribe your client.
Are you a mother?
I'm not, no, but I have a 6-year-old half sister. Okay. And so it's always like, okay, do this and then we'll give you this, or like do this and then you can get ice cream, or like.
But do you know what it is though? I don't want to call it bribery, but you can give companies incentives. Right? If you do this, we will give you that. If you don't do this, you'll get that.
Yeah.
We'll invoice you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But you said you're moving into education. In what capacity?
So one of my favorite projects last year was working in conjunction with, there were a lot of organizations, but it was basically one educational consultancy, myself, a product management consultancy, and then a textile-based kind of organization in North Carolina. And so they focus in on circularity. And so that company had worked with the local state system to remake their textile and fashion curriculum for high schools, update it first time in 10 years. It was amazing. And basically they infused sustainability and circularity and regeneration into that. And then they wanted to build out materials so it was easy for the teachers to teach the students, because many of these teachers had never learned about sustainability before. No. And so I was then brought on to infuse sustainability, regeneration, circularity, like research, innovations, happenings, education into almost 100 materials that were then given to the teachers to then teach the students.
I think that's so important. I've actually tried to push that through educating the educators. Yeah. Anything that's changing, I think, you know, in my experience, it's the responsibility of a university to train their lecturers on what's new. Totally. Right? Totally. So then they are able to then pass that knowledge on to students. But what I find is that a lot of lecturers, the ones that are curious, they train themselves. So they read up on things and make sure they know what's going on. Yeah. But that's very different from actually being trained.
Yeah. So we worked with 4 high school teachers to kind of make these materials. And so I got to upskill them, but based on what they were, where they had knowledge gaps, basically.
Yes.
Which was a really nice way to do it. So like, we know all about this and this and this, and we're really excited about this aspect, but then we don't know so much about this. Can you help us with this?
I think that's a place that you can actually help in, like going into, even, I know you're working with high school, but going into universities and kind of finding the knowledge gap within their courses that you can help fill, because that would also make them a very attractive educational place for future students or executive learning of some sort, you know. So that I think that makes you priceless, because you're how you will see it is not how they will see it. So you need to look at the course in the curriculum and be like, this is great, but it would be better if you include this and this and this, because it gives the students the tools they need when they enter this industry, and makes them very valuable.
Totally. Yeah, I would love to do that. I love doing stuff like this. I speak to students as well, like casually. On that level. Do you know,
I'm going to put it out there for you. If you're on university, on an educational place, please get in touch with Isabelle, because she will help you identify the gaps in your curriculum and make your course more attractive, make sure your students have the right tools to enter this industry.
Thank you. Yes, please do get in touch.
Thank you so much, Isabelle, for coming to talk to me.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will catch up soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.